Hello, everyone. So I'm Shujata. I'm the founder of Twirl Store, and I present to you Twirl Talks. So this is going to be a series of interactive discussions, and we hope you're going to enjoy it as much as we are going to enjoy making this entire thing come together. So today, right now, right here, is the very first episode of Twirl Talks. As you know, Twirl Store is a social enterprise and we are focused on reducing cloth wastage. So we encourage you all to send your unwanted clothes and fabrics to us. We reward you with points which you can redeem to buy new things from us. But with all the old clothes that we receive, we either donate it to those who need it in the slums and villages, or we upcycle it as a fabric to make new products out of it. And this entire work of upcycling, it's all being done by the rural women, thus giving them a source of livelihood. So these are beautiful handcrafted products in the range of bags, accessories, gift items, and these are all available on www.twirl.store and also in a lot of offline places, including the Wise Corner. So we just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you all for constantly supporting us by sending us your unwanted clothes as well as by buying our upcycled products. The Twirl community, which we've recently launched, this is just another way for us all to remain connected because we do need your love and support in this journey where we are taking small steps towards building a better world. Today, of course, is a very special day because, as I said, this is the first episode of Twirl Talks, and we have an extra special guest with us. So she's so special because she's also a dear friend. But if I had to describe her in one word, I would probably say superwoman. Because she seems to have so many talents, right from being an entrepreneur to being an amazing singer. I think she can do anything and everything. So let me proudly present to you Pauline, co-founder of Wise and Sustainability Director of the Techno India Group. But most importantly, Pauline is a great supporter of all kinds of sustainable initiatives. So thank you so much, Pauline, for joining us here today on Twirl Talks. And please do tell us about the various initiatives that WISE is involved in and all the activities that you're basically supporting.
Thank you so much, Shujata, for such a kind introduction. I'm honored to be part of the Twirl community and to be also invited on this first episode. It's really an honor. And Shujata, you know, you're a real friend that I not only personally appreciate but also professionally admire. So I'm very much looking forward to discussing more about Twirl and about WISE and about how we can keep working together on these issues. So just to maybe quickly present to the work that I do. So I moved from France, Paris, to Kolkata now 2 years ago already, can't believe it. And I had studied and worked extensively on sustainability and social innovation with a business angle. And I think in that aspect, Shujata and Twirl, the Twirl is really representing something that is very dear to my heart, which is the fine combination between being financially sustainable through a business, as well as being very sensitive and very impactful in the right way, bringing social and environmental impact. And for that matter, Twirl not only is focusing on environmental impact via the reduction of waste, but also social impact through who is producing all of these beautiful accessories and products, who are usually and most and primarily, I believe, Shujata, women of underprivileged backgrounds. So congratulations, Shujata, for all of these endeavor. So when I came to Kolkata a couple of years ago, I really wanted to keep working on these issues. And one of the observations that I did when I came here was that a lot of professionals were doing great work in their own NGO, social enterprise, even sometimes, sitting at their corporate department, maybe in the CSR department, or in companies, bigger companies that have one of the sustainable development goals at the core of their DNA. But unfortunately, one thing I felt was that they tended to not know of each other very tightly, and not maybe explore all of the collaboration opportunities that can be done in between all of these organizations that are sharing the very same mindset of wanting to combine their professional career with something greater than themselves, with something that is meaningful and impactful. And so WISE was born out of this observation that we needed maybe one platform that could connect the dots between all of these organizations. And therefore, I don't know if you know, all of you, the Sustainable Development Goals framework, this set of 17 rules initiated by the United Nations to show the way towards a more sustainable planet. The 17th one is called Partnerships for the Goal. For the goals, and WISE is very much sitting on this SDG with the willingness to create the synergies and explore more collaboration in between all of these actors. And so, very concretely, what we've done since inception is not only we have this online platform where we invite organizations to gather there, but also offline every month when we could. Before the lockdown, we're organizing professional monthly meetups for all of these actors to meet together. We started in Kolkata last year, and we also had opened a chapter in Darjeeling, and then the lockdown happened, and we look forward to the end of this lockdown so that we can maybe give birth to other chapters in and across the eastern region of India, which is our geographical focus with WISE. So that is one, really the fact of being the networking aggregating platform. And then the second one, the second focus that we have is a series of educational opportunities to especially inspire the youth to understand that there are real career opportunities in the impact space, and that you do not have, it's not a mutually exclusive dilemma to have a career that pays you well and a career that is also very impactful. So that is the second pillar. And then the third pillar is providing concrete awareness and concrete behavioral solutions towards a more sustainable lifestyle. One of them being the WISE Corner store, which is located in Offbeat CCU on the EM bypass in Kolkata, where we also here act as an aggregator of products that are environmentally and socially responsible, including Twirl products, and we sell from there as well. So in a nutshell, that's what we're doing at WISE.
Absolutely. And it's really in a nutshell, because I know the whole lot of things that you're doing all at the same time. But just taking it up from what you mentioned, that I do know that Techno India is also playing a big role in creating a whole new generation of social entrepreneurs. And that's really exciting for a social entrepreneur like myself. So tell us a little bit about those programs that you're launching.
It's an interesting question. I've been thinking a lot about social entrepreneurship. So before I answer exactly your question, I just want to take just a second to explain the differences between entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship. So social entrepreneurs typically are also entrepreneurs, as their name suggests, but they typically tend to prioritize on their social and environmental impact before any kind of maximization of profits. Now, having said so, what I observe, and it's a very slow transition, but I still think it's happening. It's this transition to a very clear distinction between who is a social entrepreneur, who is just an entrepreneur, to a situation where, thankfully, and it's a good thing, the borders between who is an entrepreneur and who is a social entrepreneur are becoming more blurry, unclear. By that, I mean, if you want to become an entrepreneur, why would you want to become an entrepreneur if not to create some amount of social and environmental value? And so we see the proportion of social entrepreneur within the scope of entrepreneurship taking a lot more space than before, and more so. So I tend to think that maybe, hopefully, social entrepreneurs will become all of the entrepreneurs of tomorrow, because entrepreneurship and businesses overall need to understand that they will not be able to sustain in the long run if they don't take into account their social and environmental impact. Now, as far as Techno India is concerned, so I'm also related to Techno India Group, and I'm that one person that goes into the corridors and classes and shout out about sustainable development and try to create as many opportunities as I can for the students to learn and to work on sustainable development related matters. And actually, we have a Twirl collection point at Techno India since January. And it's been a few years already that Techno India is really putting an emphasis on entrepreneurship as a whole. For example, at Techno India University, one of the flagship institutions under Techno India Group, you have this entrepreneurship development, skill development program, which is a mandatory module in each of the students' routine on each of their year. So they need to work on their entrepreneurship skills on a year-to-year basis while they go through their Techno India University curriculum. That is one. 3 years ago also, Technopreneurs Surrogate Ventures is an incubator that was created and is associated with Techno India Group. And so there's quite a lot of students that through pre-incubation and incubation programs curated by Technopreneurs are getting support in going from the ideation stage to the implementation stage. So we have a series of mentors and a series of partners that can help out in that matter. Now, for social entrepreneurs specifically, it's a harder support system to build up. Why? Because usually, although it is not mutually exclusive, and Twirl is providing an example of that, in some cases, you have a conflict between how much money I can generate at the beginning of my venture and how much impact I want to create at the same time. And sometimes when you are too focused on your impact, then your financial and business model might not exactly be as rigorous and as money generating as you would need in order to sustain, especially in the first few years of your endeavor, which are the hardest in financial terms. And so in order to help out, especially in the eastern region of the country, which tends to be slightly more difficult in terms of entrepreneurship, slightly less developed in terms of entrepreneurship than compared to other regions in the country, we're trying to set up new opportunities, especially for social entrepreneurs to see the light in terms of ventures. We are in the process and discussions with a partner called Bridge for Billions. I can tell more later if I have the occasion to, and with whom we will set up. We're planning to set up an impact lab under WIST, which would be very much focused on impact entrepreneurship, as we may say. And again, I want to insist on the fact that all of the support system that we're offering to entrepreneurs should also and is also applicable to social entrepreneurs, because social entrepreneurs as well need to have a very strong, very viable business model. So that is, and then lastly, as I was telling you, through the networking and aggregating opportunity, WIST is trying to help out as much as possible in terms of connecting social entrepreneurs with different stakeholders that will help them grow their venture. Sujata, you're here?
Right. Thank you so much, Pauline. I just want to, say to everybody, am I audible? Okay.
Yes,
so I
yes,
just
you're
wanted to, share with everybody who's joined us on.
Oops, I think we have lost Sujata. I'm sure she'll be back soon. Sujata, you're back? I can see you.
Hi, Pauline. We might have lost Sujata ma'am right now. So she joins back in, we'll continue. As of now, let us please know more about the Techno India Group and your role in it, basically.
Yes. Are you back, Sujata? Is she frozen again?
Hello, Pauline, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Should I go ahead with your question?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Right. So at Techno India, basically, as I was saying, it's really a difficult transformation to operate. So I joined Techno India 2 years ago, as I was saying, and there was no specific sustainable development department per se. So I was really at the beginning by myself on this position. And when we're talking about sustainable development, sustainability transition for a particular organization, at the beginning, we need a sustainable development department or a very specific unit that takes on all of these matters and try to progressively integrate them into each of the streams of studies, each of the activities on campus, each of the job opportunities as well, and volunteering opportunities and extracurricular activities of the students. But the goal in the long run is really to get rid of the sustainable development department of Techno India and any other such organizations. Why? Because eventually, at the end of the day, what we want is intrinsically, spontaneously, naturally, organizations that will take sustainable development issues into the core DNA or the core of their activities throughout their activities. So as of now, I have launched this transition, the beginning of the transition towards sustainable development, and it's been growing well internally over the past couple of years. It's a slow transition, but I'm really looking forward to move on. In the same way, you could think about CSR departments, corporate sustainability, corporate social responsibility departments in big corporations. Now, the law in India is shaped in such a way that big organizations legally have to put 2% of their net profits for social and environmental focused projects. But eventually what we want to not need CSR departments anymore. And we want all of these issues, all of the social and environmental responsibility of the companies to be part of their own activities, to be part of their own supply chains, to be part of their own mindset. So we are at the beginning of the transition, but I believe we are on the right way, in the right direction. Sujata, are you back?
Yay, I'm back. Okay. Right. I just wanted to ask you something that, I have very strong feelings about this, that we all have a role to play in, the sustainable future that we build. We can't just rely on governments and, big organizations to always take the initiatives. We can all do it. For example, at Twirl, we encourage everyone to be a little more socially responsible just by, putting their wardrobe to a better use. But I wanted your feedback, how can we all, especially the youngsters of today, what are the small things that we can all do so that we have a better future ahead of us?
Great question. Again, I think that, I hope I can express myself properly, but I think that if we don't start anywhere, then it just doesn't start. You know, like sometimes for sustainable development issues, when we're talking about climate change and air pollution, all of this, these issues sound so much bigger than ourselves that if you are only considering your own individuality, you're like, why would I do anything about it? Why would I even try? Because I know that my own individuality, my own person cannot achieve anything, right? But this is a very dangerous thought that I invite all of you to get rid of, because if no one does anything, this is for sure the only path that will take us to the wrong direction. Now, imagine if an individual starts behaving in another way, in a more sustainable way. And then one actually says that if you are behaving in a certain manner and also spreading a specific message, then 5 other people around you will take that example for themselves and potentially mimic your own behavior and take example out of yours. And then these 5 people that have adopted a more sustainable behavior will in their turn influence another 5 of them. And so by multiplicator effect, you get to eventually a whole society that behaves more consciously. One of the things that I really admire about all of these social entrepreneurs, including Sujata, including myself to some extent, is that at least we're trying our best. At least we're participating to the beginning of that wave that will grow and grow and grow until it actually has some storm effect and will spread through society. So if no one starts, that is for sure no one will start. If someone starts small, be it only one individual, then this is the only way we can start. Everything needs to start small. In the very same way, under WIST, we have this project called the River Rangers, where last year, on 1st of September 2019, instead of waiting for the governments to do something about it, we gathered on Malik Ghat, this ghat next to Howrah Bridge, and we put gloves on and we started picking up litter and plastic waste on the ghat ourselves. Because why wait? And then since then, it's been a year now, but we have a team of core volunteers. We've worked with companies, we've worked with NGOs, we've worked with consulates, foreign consulates out of Kolkata who came and did cleanup drives with us. If we hadn't started at all, then all of this wouldn't have happened. So and also one last point to your question, if you're preaching sustainable living and you're not doing it yourself, then you'll of course you have to be very kind with yourself, because it's a slow transition from your old you potentially to the more sustainable you, and it's fine that it's a slow process. But if you don't try yourself, then what will happen is you will preach all of these great ideas that we need a more sustainable development, and your behavior and your actions will not follow, and you will feel very uncomfortable with yourself. It's called actually cognitive dissonance, when you have the actions and your talk not converging towards each other. So basically, another advice that I would give is try to walk the talk and apply it to yourself first, and then take it on to the world and to your neighbor and pass on the great news about it.
I think that's why we are such good friends, because the tagline of Twirl Store is "Be the change you want to see."
Exactly.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
But any other message you would like to give the Twirl community, or any advice for Twirl? Because Twirl has been working with WISE and Techno India for some time now. So just any feedback, advice, or any message from you to everyone.
Maybe a message to everyone first. I think supporting such companies that are sincerely showing intentions and putting that into their products, just like Twirl is doing, matters a lot, actually. So every time that you buy every time that you decide to show up or not on this call, and thank you so much everyone, that the 22, 21 of you that came up today, showing up, expressing support, buying a couple of products from a new brand that is trying to be sustainable. Every time you do this is another citizen move towards the right direction, is you voting for a more sustainable future every time you do that. And so I really imagine the future full of such small companies, because the consolidation of big companies and corporates are to a great extent what is threatening us in environmental terms and social terms as well, in terms of allocation of resources, etc. There's a lot of interesting debates on the topic. The ideal future that I see is a Twirl and a Y-East and another smaller organization and a medium organization and another one, all of them having very strong mindset towards either or together social and environmental responsibility, which together we can call the impact economy. So as a consumer, as a citizen yourselves, if you're hearing this, I think it's really important that you, if you can, and there's so many more sustainable alternatives, whatever you do, if you can, try the sustainable alternative one, because you will be surprised. Not only will you feel better with yourself, but also will you be more impactful positively as an individual. And also you probably will find out that it brings you more comfort, that you will brings you more quality products, that you will be very happy with the product or service that you've actually bought for. So that is the message to all of the citizens. Make sure every time you waste, every time you buy, every time your behavior has an impact onto the external world, you ask yourself, can I do it better? Can I do it exactly the same way with the same amount of comfort without the negative impact on society or environment? And most of the time there are already available alternatives around you. And a message to Twirl, I just want to express again how admirative and how proud I am to know of Twirl being a Kolkata-based organization, women-led, not only Shujata, but also all of the women power, not manpower, women power behind
all
it.
All girls team.
All of that team. It's so well done. It's a great example of a company that works well and for good. And also, maybe, I don't know if it is an advice, but you know, when you grow in the future, and you will for sure, and you are, it doesn't matter if you become a Procter & Gamble or Zara. You don't want to become these big organizations, actually. Growth usually comes with having to compromise on your impact. And there are more and more such companies that are deciding to remain at a medium stage with a decent growth and decent market, but at a medium to small stage in order to keep control over their impact. And I think in terms of resource sharing in the economy overall, and in terms of keep focusing on impact instead of growth. I think it sends a strong message in itself that I think Twirl in itself could embody in the future.
Thank you so much, Pauline. This really means a lot to us. The entire message that you've put out, it really means a lot to us. And at Twirl, you know, I must say that, you know, we've been very fortunate, not just, you know, by getting the love of our customers, but, you know, by getting a lot of recognitions and awards, a lot of media coverage. But, you know, for us, for the entire team, I think our greatest motivation is and will forever be the smiles on the faces of those whose lives we've been able to enrich. So that is our greatest motivation, and I hope it remains that way, as you say, forever.
Absolutely. Bouncing on this, Shujata, I think another way to say it is I think it's beautiful when people dare to redefine what we call success. Today's success is not how much money you make anymore. It's how many smiles you put on faces. And maybe if it were to be the new monetary assessment for everyone to consider themselves as successful and pass on this message, I think we'll be in a better place tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And like Pauline said, I request everyone to, now it is a trending hashtag, vocal for local, but it is something we have been talking about for years now, that if we do not support our own, then who will? So please keep supporting, the communities around us, the people around you. And I think, we can all move them together towards a better world, I'd say. Thank you again, Pauline, for joining us today. And I'm very sorry that I'm sort of leaving and coming in. Thanks to the...
It's okay. You got back at the right time. No problem.
Right.
It was lovely. Thank you so much for the interaction, Sujata.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you everybody who's joined us today. It was wonderful to have this first episode. You can look forward to many more, and stay safe, but keep twirling, because as we say at Twirl, together we can all twirl to a better world. So thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.